I'm Seamus. Thank you so much for coming.
You've got a great cause worth fighting for. I couldn't wait to get here. That said, I expected, well, more people?
So far, there's only the two of us.
But we're highly motivated.
Well, it's a start.
Some people I knew already were dear friends of mine, like Little Gray Cells and Just My Stupid Opinion.
Lots of interesting things. This is absolutely abominable, and the RCMP are really in the shit here, and they know it.
Hi, I'm not really sure what I'm doing here, but I think it's time that I needed to speak up.
The following program is brought to you in living color.
Something watching on TV, horror movie, you shut it off a good bit. We can't shut this off. Every time we close our eyes, the horror movie turns on. So I know for myself, when I close my eyes, go try to get bit, picture my parents being shot.
Trying to piece together a story that seems so unbelievable.
Let's have a look at this. I'm going to pause it periodically, and I'm going to try and not lose my shit because I was really angry. Really angry. I'm getting really pissed now. I'll preface this by saying I'm strongly urging all of the victims in this, the victims' families, to launch a class action lawsuit against the RCMP. And I would just love to have the RCMP under discovery. I have a lot of questions, and I'm sure a lawyer would too.
Mounted police and their stories. Stories of their courage. Stories of their lives filled with hazard, romance, and adventure. The RCMP story this week, Gunslinger.
Oh my goodness, how many windows do I have open? Hello? Yeah, sorry. Trouble. Something stuck in my throat. Good evening. Hope everybody's doing well. Now, welcome on board to anybody who's a new subscriber. I've noticed the subscriber count. They seem to have allowed the algorithm to be broken. I'm not sure what's going down there. Anyways, we've got Weed the People. We have, yes, this is terribly serious about Tara. We're going to get that rectified in quick succession, I think. I've left the contact information down below to register a complaint, please, with, do this here too. What's this one? The article to do with Greg Mercer. Serious no-no. He treaded on some turf that he shouldn't have been doing, doxing family members. Very bad. Very, very bad. Very poor taste. So that needs to be removed immediately. And he's had 3 days now, and he's sat on his ass and done nothing about it. So better get to it and check your conscience. Otherwise, perhaps other avenues will have to be pursued. Deanna Martell, Linda, got a message Greg on his Facebook about Tara and lies in the article. Thank you. Thank you to all of you who leave comments about this, and because that's the way, you know, got to put the pressure on. Tweet it around, retweet it, ask your friends, whatever. Get on the Facebook, let him know. It's interesting. He's in the family group or the March group. Great eyes by a couple people there, and he did leave a reply, and we'll get to that too. And you guys be a judge of it for yourself. What happened there? Nova Scotia citizen, hope this is a good video. Okay, well, I hope so too. If I waste your time, my apologies. Now, Linda McDonald, nosy Scotian. Citizen doesn't, he doesn't mince words. Apparently, I waste his time at times, so my apologies. Jen Logan, good evening. Sharon, Nikki Lewis. Oh, Grinder's here. Howdy, Grinder. Been a while since seeing you. Hope everything's doing well. Kathy, Greg Mercer. Why is Greg Mercer saying this stuff about how people have constructed alternative reality where Lisa is a victim and Sarson's? I don't know. I don't understand. He's playing government advocate. I think it might have something to do with the pinned tweet. I like the pinned tweet he's got on his Twitter. Notice there's no comments on that. I'm not sure why. I like to leave a comment on there about evidence. Beth, Marion Suter. Watched the last video, realized that 2 persons were finally spotlit, and I'm glad. The one is tied directly to the camp in Bible Hills, which I heard is well before this tragedy. Discord. Hello, Baker. What's going down? Sarson entertains, no doubt she can be wrong. Obviously, yeah, no. There's nothing, it's cut and dry, but I think there may be possibly other motives. You never know. Whether that's knowingly or not, I don't know. Certainly helps other people's agendas. They're all kind of friends. Friends are good. Barely use Twitter, but send something to Greg. Thank you. Kendall. We've got Ashley here. Hello, Ashley. Got Greg Mercer with his public address said I was sorry, did my best. Malarkey. He gave a soapbox to feminists who didn't give a shit about all the men who were killed and only for Lisa. Well, like I said, we'll get to all that. We've got Baker. Baker's finally catching one live. That's great. It's good when we have people catching live. Saw your post on Twitter. Thought I missed it. Just starting. Great. All right. Thank you. Blue Nose. How's it going? We have countryside. What is that? Is that fingers? Oh, it's peace symbol. I don't understand these emoji things, and I'm half blind anyway. We've got Leia. Hello, Leia. We've got disinclined to take seriously the idea that might be wrong with the Leon Jowdry testimony. That's not checking belief against evidence. Everything's on the table. It's always the way good journalism is done, I think. An investigation. You have to entertain everything and motives. We've got Loretta in here. Wow, Nova Scotia Citizen's busy tonight. He's really making a lot of comments. I'm not even going to get through the hellos. If Sarson says Lisa's a victim, that claims about reality. If she's making a claim about reality, under what conditions would her hypothesis be shown wrong? I'd say Lisa showing up at Leon Chowdhury's. Well, there's definitely questions all about destroying the evidence that we have been furnished. I think is because you can get on, they throw out lots of shiny things, and there's lots of speculation, but they do give you some stuff, and you can kind of go through. Well, I don't know. So that we're going to talk about some of that tonight. Ocean Girl, hello. Good evening. Good evening. It is 8:35 down there. Not injured. Shambhalamba, some camp. Yes, I've heard something about the Shambhalamba. Michael Juba, hello. Francis Delaney, evening all. Snippy Pinky sends the hearts. Love in the house. It's good to have love in the house. Everybody deserves love. Even people who say nasty things, they can just apologize and move along. Kathy, New Brunswick. Wish I could be here more, but back, Seamus, and everyone's efforts and families, those we lost. Thank you. Your continued support. Thank you to all of you. Of course, thank you to, I'm on the wrong screen here. Why, I've got this all backwards. I don't know what's wrong with me. If the microphone isn't muted, I think I'm doing okay. Now, I do it like that, right? Do share audio too. Okay, so thank you very much, of course, always to the people in the Discord. Working hard. We got, well, at least 11 that are on by make themselves public. There's a lot of people that choose not to. But thank you ever so much for the continued support of the 380 thereabouts. Some of those people, yes, aren't no longer participating. I don't know how to clean that out, but whatever. But there are many, many, many people who are following and paying attention, so this is good. That's the only way this grows, is by spreading word. We've got Becca. How is it going? What do you mean by camp? Do tell. Baker says there was a Facebook post today, not unsure about the entire not too sure about the entire context, but someone asked why CBRM police didn't have flags at half mast, and Sergeant said Cape Breton. Sergeant replied, we have more important. Wow, that's really ouch. Perhaps where did you see that? Anybody else aware of that? That's not a very nice thing to say. We've got Will. How's it going? How's it going, Will? Good evening, y'all. Doesn't everyone just love how Lenore Zann single-handedly got us all inquiry all by herself, fighting against families? It's miraculous how that turns around. It's kind of like that Stanfield's contract that yeah. And the cancer. Lenore's going to have her day. We'll get to all that one day. It's a big part of certain people, the big-time celebrity, Girl on Fire organization, TED Talk, somewhere to start. Okay, so that sounds like an interesting rabbit hole. Lots of rabbit holes. Hi, everyone, from me in Wisconsin. Is that Wisconsin? Are you in Wisconsin? Yes, Wisconsin, right? Tiff, how rude. Okay, I don't know who's being rude. Hopefully it's not me. Okay, in Greg's article, they mentioned some of the conspiracy theorists even believed Wortman was a CSIS agent. Oh my goodness. Let's see proof. All right. Media has eyes on Todd. On Todd. Do tell, do tell. Now, why did you decide to get off the couch? My little guy is wandering around. Now, so there was a few things, and I had some excellent help, as always, this morning. Somebody pointed something out quite a long time ago in the Discord. They sent me a picture, and I asked them about the picture, and I said, I've never seen this picture before. It's slightly different than the picture we've been furnished with, which is the 11-12 DeBert photo. And so I kind of, many things come in, lots of things that I forget, and I never did really get to the bottom of that. But then, of course, it comes up at opportune times, and it came up again today. And so went through, had some excellent help from somebody who is in the chat. And if they wish to identify themselves, that's wonderful. I won't, because that's just not really my way. Cape Breton police are rude. Okay. Rude police. That's not good. Oh my. Well, we may have to get that up on camera just to show that. Let's see here. I'll try and find it. One moment, please. Cape Breton police. Comment about mayor and council. Today we remember together. Okay, so now they're posting this. I'm taking it that this was later, after they got some flack. Together with all Nova Scotians, we honor 22. There's a tell. Whenever you see the 22, there's a problem. For sure, for sure. Is it a comment? I'm presuming it's a comment. Is it a comment underneath that? View two more comments. Nope. Oh, of course, there we got. Excellent. Wonderful. Cape Breton in the house. It's a post Cape Breton rant room. Oh, okay. I don't know if I have access to that. I don't have access to much. My account is not very real, so I don't do Facebook very much. Cape Breton rant room. That sounds like a fun place to go, doesn't it? Private group. Okay, so I can't go there. And then there's the real Cape Breton rant room. There's the Cape Breton rant room, and then there's the real. I don't know. I guess one of them isn't real. Strange. Anyway, so this picture. Now, of course, we got the lengthy and what was it? How was it referred to? Detailed timeline. I think actually that was the 24th of April, 2020, was the detailed one with pins and maybe 5 time markers on it. Very detailed. And then we had the more thorough one 4 days later. So we've been through a bunch of the different pictures and videos, and there seems to be some issues with some of that. And, you know, I'm just going to leave this, and I want to see your opinions on some of these things always and hear from you. So when, let's see, how do I do this best? We'll do the 11-12 photo. Where am I finding that? From the Speaking remarks from Darren Campbell. This was it. I don't know if you guys all recall this photo. On the 28th of April, the press conference. I don't know if they had any fun, exciting, shiny things that day. They definitely did on the 24th. We've kind of been through that. Some of those. It's always interesting to find what's going down around every day that, you know, big news or potential big news may be coming out. It's always the lures are out there trying to distract people. 11:12. Now, the photo, as you can see, we got another UFO, of course, and it's cropped, and we've kind of been through all that. And you can't really tell much about anything and what kind of vehicle is it, etc., etc. But I like the small things, the small details. That's how you pick things apart. Does your shirt say penetration? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. It says penetration naked winery. It's a winery down in the United States. I think I bought this actually after I quit drinking. I did. I just thought the shirt was so funny. It's very cleverly written on the back of it. I understand wine quite well from a business perspective, actually. Venting and hello. And it's written, you know, talking about legs and things like that uses wine terms. Anyway, it's good for a laugh. Got to laugh at some things, right? My sense of humor is sometimes a bit different. Oh, bless you. Bless you. Okay, so we have this photo. Now, it's a good marketing angle. Yeah, it was different. You can't have those kinds of things in Canada. It's actually against the law, apparently. You know, you can't mix. Not that they don't have pictures of women and things like that with beer. I mean, but it's actually much more clever than that, and I like that. Now, this was the photo. So let's go over to okay, where am I going here? Ah, this is what I want. Here. We'll talk about a few things. Hopefully I'll remember them. 13 Deadly Hours, Fifth Estate. Okay. So here is the picture of Puppers. Yes, he's great. That is the photo, the 11/12 photo. But it's different. First of all, the quality is obviously a lot better. It is better. So this is more original than what the RCMP put out. But the shape of the car is very different. Let's do a little experiment here. I'm hoping I can replicate this. It's okay, buddy. Now, it'll take me a moment to set up. I have the finished product, but that is not really going to help anybody at this point in time. Where did I have it? Right, okay, here's where it is. So I'll reset it back to the way it was. Now, That's the photo. I think that's actually the original one. Let's see. There you go. That's the original. Do you see a difference between them? One is elongated and one is a lot shorter. This car, to me, vehicle, looks far more like, which is the one from here, looks like the CBC 13 hours. First of all, how did they get this photo? Very interesting. The press always seems to have access to some good stuff, which we're going to get into a few more of them. And I've noticed lots of them over the course of this story. But this is what the RCMP furnish, and this is what we see. Now, look at the tree in the background here. Okay? Look at the tree here. You see how there's a difference? Aha. There you go. So, when we were going through this person, very kind, just aspect ratio. There you go. It was Mr. Moneypenny, funnily enough, who shared the original photo with me. And I said to him, I don't know when that was. I searched back. I think it was winter time, late fall, winter. Yeah, it was after the CBC Fifth Estate. And I was like, where did you get that? And he said, oh, yeah, it was in the CBC Fifth Estate. And I was like, I don't remember that. And he sent me this photo, and I was like, oh, it's different, though. So, okay, now, what happens if you take this photo, because you can see the difference in the tree. Let's look at how the tree actually looks. Oh, shh, it's okay. Let's look at how the tree actually looks. This is Google Earth image. Now, obviously, I can't take the picture from the bakery or the video, but I can see here is the tree. Does it look like a rabbit turd, or does it look a little elongated? So if you put them side by side, you have this, and that. The 1112 one at the top side here is what is in the speaking notes. Speaking notes. Just give me one moment. I'm going to put my dog on the couch. Thank you. This is what Darren Campbell gave us, was this one. Gave the public. The still frame, one still frame from this apparent video. This is what CBC has, which is clearer, and you can tell that by the resolution, but I don't think you can here. And I just downloaded it. This actually is a lot less clear because it's a screenshot. This one was actually downloaded, the top one, the RCMP one is downloaded from their official speaking remarks. So the resolution is not as good, which is interesting. But what you can do, if you take okay, let's try and do this. Oh, I don't think I can do it on that one. Sorry. Did I? Okay. Is this flattened already? Okay. If you stretch the photo upwards, the photo will mimic the CBC one. The CBC one, in my opinion, is the actual still. It is the actual video still. So this is the vehicle that was driving. Not, I don't think the CBC took it and stretched the photo. Because there would be no need to. But I think they just figured nobody's really going to look that closely at it. But if you sit them side by side, it doesn't look right, in my opinion. You know, it's just like, you know, where the times, you can see the times have been inserted because they don't line up. They're not level with the screen, the border of the screen. You can see it. Or the ghost in the image video, which happened up on Hunter Road. So a lot of these pictures have been doctored and fixed and damaged and done interesting things. But a lot of people may look at this originally and say, well, you know, that kind of does look like a little bit of an SUV, rather than looking more like a car. But that's preposterous. It isn't a car. It looks far more like an SUV. I don't know if you guys are seeing what I am, and I don't know if I can replicate it well. But it's really apparent. And first of all, I want to appreciate always all your guys' help, and the two people in here specifically. Mr. Moneypenny did send me the picture, so gotta say thank you to him. And the other person, which if they care to identify themselves, please do, and because they were a big help on this. Now, they were helping me with some other things, so I'd like to know your guys' thoughts on this picture, because they certainly aren't. There's a big difference between a car and the SUV. Oh, sorry. Car, SUV. And you can tell by the height of the building, even. And the tree is correct. It's compression. So is there some split screen happens when you take an MPEG video, transfer it to another digital format? I've never experienced this, because you can definitely resize it. All I have to do here is percentage. It's the same thing in my video editing software. I can do the same thing. 100%. It keeps the aspect correct to the original, and I can have it fit the screen. So, and lots of times, you know, on Letterbox or whatever, we're going to do interesting things with that. So it is normal. Okay, that's fair. You know, I'm just throwing it out there that they appear to be two different things. Another thing we were noticing, but please let me know. MC equals says no, and that's fair. Excellent. You listen. I've never had this issue. And I make videos, so I've been making them for years. I've never had that issue. And clearly the picture doesn't even resemble, if we go to the original speaking notes picture, Why does he need to have? So are you saying then the RCMP compressed the picture to have it fit their speaking notes? You wouldn't need to do that. You wouldn't need to do that. In fact, I can replicate that right now. If they want to put down here 11, 12, and they want to have it a certain size, I can make it a certain size and it'll fit, and you can have it look as they did in the speaking, wherever I put the speaking notes one. I've got so many of these damn things open now. Wow, I've got a lot of stuff open. Always. I have no idea how many pictures. There we go. I can resize this. Oh, that's a problem with the stream. That's interesting. Okay. Blue Nose thinks it may have been modified. You know, why would it make a difference? The RCMP don't need to compress it, if that's what you're arguing. They certainly don't. You just take the box and resize it. Same thing with the video. But again, just for your consideration. The other thing was we were going through the bakery, or sorry, the DeBert school photo. Now, this one's going to be a little bit more. Where is the DeBert school photo taken from? Exactly. Is it and then it started to get into, is it in fact taken from the DeBert school? Timeline. So here we have, if it'll open. Right. The 543 picture, because I think it's very important to know where these are taken from so that we can tell which direction that the supposed car is driving from, right? Where is it going? Where did it come from? How did it get there? So this photo on the surface looks very much like, of course, DeBert School. But if you look a little closer, it's perhaps, I'm just saying, perhaps that it may not, in fact, be. Because this one's going to be a little harder to demonstrate, I think. But let's try. The camera angle. I wish I was down there so that I could just drive around like that. I'm nutty like that. I would literally drive around at nighttime and go and look at all the different angles of things. Let's see here. DeBert School. Of course, they never told us where exactly these pictures are taken, right? So here we are at DeBert Elementary, right? Now, the understanding was originally that the photo, so we have, how am I going to try and explain this? The landmarks don't quite match. If we take, the best I can come up with is that it's actually taken or that, sorry, we collectively, this other individual and I, could get is that the photo is actually taken from probably either the pizzeria or the lodge. I don't know if either has a camera, but it doesn't match up landmarks wise 100%. But those of you who are who live in the area would know these things. So I would really appreciate your input, because I obviously cannot go here. I think that it's taken roughly from back here, somewhere in this vicinity. Not from the front of the school, but from this side of the street. But the landmarks don't match up. Why do I say that? Their photo actually was much better than mine. Now you can see certain landmarks in here, right? Obviously, you have to remember the perspective is going to be different because it's taken from the buildings behind. But we have the power poles, right? The two power poles here. We have obviously the box, the transformer box here. We have a sign. What am I looking for here? We have the sign here, right? And the sign here. But there appears to be no guardrail. I don't know if the guardrail has been removed, but there doesn't appear to be one on the side of the road. You can go to get this. I should give you the link so that you guys can all go. Speaking remarks. So I'll put the link in so you guys can go download it if you want. Okay, so Plains Road. Yes, it's Plains Road. So it's taken from back here facing this direction. Where's the photo that they had? I don't want to dox them. It was a lot better. I should have put a side by side of it. So you can go and get the different photos from there. Also, I'll give you the 13 hours time. There's the video for 13 hours, and the timestamp is 26:12. For the photo of the vehicle. Again, your thoughts on this is important. This photo is somewhat close to what is happening in that other photo. Now, there are a couple of things that are different, though. It would be the which I pointed out. Well, obviously the barrier here. You see lights in the background. Now, the only thing I could think of lights in the background was, where are we at here? Google Earth. Is this sign over here. I don't know what exactly it says, the Burton area or something like this. There does appear to be a couple of floodlights. If you go down Masstown Road in it, because Google takes things at different times of the year. You see how you've shifted And the sign actually isn't even here in this one. So it only appears from back there. So you can't get a firm read. But there's also a third, there's another difference, which is I don't know what you call those things, but it's the wire that holds up the pole. This person said it was maybe like a guy wire. They call it a guy wire or something like that. Something to stabilize the pole. You know, with the yellow thing, the wire that's got the yellow plastic thing. This pole has that. And you can kind of see it. Let's see if I can blow it up. So that you can see it here. And also there seems to be some lights here, which I don't know where they would come from. But perhaps your ideas would be really appreciated. Well, not perhaps. Taken from the school, your theory doesn't work with the sign. No, we went around and did the school. It doesn't work that way, actually. To the best of my knowledge. I was always going with that it was taken from the front of the school, but it doesn't work that way. Because the landmarks don't fit in the background that I could get. I could get the where is it? The triangular sign, or sorry, this one right here, the have to turn sign, but the other parts didn't seem to fit. But let me check. I'll have to. What is this? This is here, right? Okay. So if I do a screen capture from, where would I go? I had this all in my file somewhere. Equally, you have here, you have the guardrail. If it's taken from the school, you would have the guardrail. The bridge is in the background. You don't have any houses for quite a distance because you've got the river, right? And in the actual picture, you have lights that are much closer. Sound? You know sound? I always thought it was taken from the... Well, Ms. Fox, if you want to go have a snooze, please do. Establishing the direction of travel and where pictures are taken is very important because they never want to tell you. They don't even want to tell you. They don't want to give you the video, which goes to an article. All excited for it. This time of year, leaves are not. Would light come from the road? Well, we discussed that, and you could maybe see it, but I don't know. Anyways, you guys play around with it as you will. It didn't seem to work, and there's no guy wire. Irrespective of that, unless is there a guy wire? Who lives up there? Because this pole here does not have a guy wire, nor does there's no other pole that it could be, right? No guy wire. Like, what the fuck? Everything in the background is homemade meme style post. I don't know what you're saying. There is no pole in this area that has a guy wire. The plastic yellow sheath, which is clearly in that photo. It definitely looks that way. I'm not saying it's 100%. Where is it here? but it certainly appears to be the real answer is, I've got to go down there and find it out for myself, because that's just the only way you can really find things out. Here, it's got the angle, right? Of a guy wire. It seems to match up. I mean, you can even kind of see the yellow part where it cuts off, and then above this line here, it doesn't go any further. Well, how am I supposed to find you if you're talking to me? I don't know what there's contact information for me. I don't seek people out. Now, let's get into a couple of other things. New surfacing of photos. This is history. More new photos. I mean, right, even the cover of it. What is it called? The new this global thing again. The new reality. Okay, this is new reality, April 21st. Okay. Some of these photos have come up before. Obviously, we just had the thumbnail one, which has supposedly, possibly, Brewster. Now let's go through here. There were at least two things in here, and one of them for sure is like kind of stands out. We'll start with this one.
Perhaps no better example of the RCMP's fractured response and lack of accountability than what happened at this fire hall on the morning of April 19th.
I heard shots, and then the wife started screaming.
Pat McCabe and his wife lived next door to
So
the
Mr.
fire hall,
McCabe,
which was designated as a refuge for people.
Joy and Pat McCabe, who lived beside the fire hall. This interview is done by Global. And it's done when? The summertime. Why have they sat on this information all this time? Like they don't furnish information when they have it. Which I find disturbing. Why do you peter out information? If you did the interview in the summertime, why would you not discuss it in the summertime? Why do you wait until the spring, April 12th or whatever the hell it was? See you later, Cindy. Uh-oh, your data's running up. Don't do that. So that part I found odd. The exit hole on the bullet seems to be here. Oh, yes. There was the fuzziness of the picture in the background. Now, that does actually have some merit right here. I can't freeze frame it without this goop on the screen, sadly. Let's see. If I take it smaller, you can see it. What they do is they fuzz the outer edges, but only really some. April 2020, April 19, and then fuzz. Because the fuzz time, of course, is 10:55. They're still fucking with the pictures and things. Why? In fact, they've even fuzzed out Lloyd's vehicle. To which, of course, he said he wasn't even home, which isn't possible because he had his car. Now, next point is the exit point. It appears as though it's being shot, obviously, then towards the fire hall from the backside of the, which kind of settles it for me. But, you know, because we don't, the only thing that can kind of tell that is this pixelated stuff. The other one is the pictures in this here. Let's see. Right there. This picture, never seen before. Time-stamped, September 13th, 2010. When did they, why do they have this picture? Because it's taken the same time as the picture that was in the other new reality, which they surfaced some new photos in also.
Wortman's common law partner, Lisa
And they surface a second photo in here, right here. And they're referring to Brian Brewster. Is this Mr. Brian Brewster? If so, why is the picture fuzzed out? It appears that this photo is taken at the same time this one is, because we have some other one where they're standing in front of that tree rock thing. I don't know if they've got it in this one. There. And it's also on December. It would be uploaded by now, obviously.
Get to the point where I'll be
forever. Now, Gabriel Wortman went on a rampage, leaving a trail.
We got new photos from
bodies.
this. How do you get new photos? Who's alive to give the new photos? Lisa clearly is in the wind, essentially. She's not talking to anybody, not doing anything. She's not, I don't expect, giving photos. Wortman is dead. So where are they getting these photos from? And why are they petering out with time? Leon, there we go. These ones are taken, released back, what was the date? I think it's December 12th. It would be interesting to see what happened in December 12th. They released 2 here, and then they released 2 new ones. Hold back everything. Yeah, just like we've got the review, we'll pull that out. Review, inquiry, always have backup plans on everything. Interviews that surface on the exact same day as warrant releases. The May 12th is a really prominent one. You had Brenda come out, and you also had Leon's interview come out the same day that the warrant came out. The other day we had the shiny thing happen in Halifax, where you have a 26-second clip, I think it is. And then a couple of days later, the same person has the 3-some-odd minute clip, which is the same day that Lisa was in court. And I showed the CTV Atlantic broadcast of that. So they pipe it up and start getting this furor over somewhere else, which seems to be artificial, because if you have, why would you give somebody a 26-second clip and then give them a 3-minute and some odd second clip? No, you're giving somebody just the full stuff, right? Logically. Gabriel Warman's friends spoken out. Not sure. Sure, they got all their info off the Facebook. Who did? That's the question. I don't know of anybody who's got anything off their original Facebook. I have the archived copy of the Facebook, right? Okay, so why is Global, if that's the case, Julie, why is Global waiting so long to issue pictures? You saw a $100 floating bill? Why do we have these slowly petering out details, slowly petering out warrants that are regurgitated with slowly unredacted information, slow, which is like the, unlike the story of this story. Ah, balls. One article on this browser. Balls. All right. Eastern Passage. Woman charged with attempted murder. Now, this is not a related case, obviously, but the point is that was made by someone in here, and it's a valid point. But let's have a read through what this is. Eastern Passage woman charged with attempted murder for allegedly running over her ex-husband. Quote, he was drunk and he wouldn't get out. Posted a day ago. Patricia Downey speaks with reporter Chris Lambie outside her home, April 20th. An Eastern Passage woman is slated to appear in court next week with charged with attempted murder for allegedly running over her ex-husband. Police were called to Dartmouth General Hospital January 10th after an injured man showed up at the emergency department claiming his ex-wife ran him over on purpose after an argument. Halifax Regional Police Detective Constable Aaron Head. I want you to, what I'm trying to say is take note of all of the detail and how quickly it's released. Aaron Head got a warrant the next day to search Patricia Cheney Downey's 2012 gray Toyota Camry, believing that it would be used the day before to commit attempted murder. Head wanted to examine the car for traces of blood, hair, fingerprints, torn or bloody clothing, paint chips, scratches, dents on the rear bumper and rear passenger seats of the car. Quote, a male was run over intentionally, Head said. The information he had filed with the Dartmouth Provincial Court. Ali Gose, quote, told, so here we have a witness, Ali Gose told hospital staff, that's the victim, that his wife struck him with the car. The detective wrote down in a sworn statement. So now we have release of actual quotations from the victim. Gose, 36, was taken to the emergency department at Halifax Infirmary. I don't know if that's just a infirmary. Okay. Where a trauma team had been activated. Mr. Gose's injuries were believed to be life-threatening, Head said. He notes that the police spoke to Adrienne Bouchard, who was sitting on her couch, Hillsborough Drive home in Westvale, watching television, January 10th, when she heard a loud bang, went to investigate. Bouchard saw headlights, car leave the neighborhood driveway, didn't spot. But it's just, and I'll leave you the link for this. It just keeps going on with details. Oh, goodness. I don't think that's going to post. Is it? It's going to be too long. Maybe. I don't know. That it has all these details. Everything is released. But why do we have, for a dead man, no details released? Ongoing investigation. Ongoing investigation. Tweet. I would like to know what your thoughts are on the tweet. Where's that? There's something about, if we look at 6:30, this tweet, which has been thoroughly scrubbed from the internet. I don't know if that even came up. In terms of the link, sorry. This tweet, which has been thoroughly scrubbed off the internet, thoroughly scrubbed from Nova Scotia's tweet line right away, RCMP tweet line. And I think we were kind of told that it was because we're not supposed to know who this person is, and we don't want to give them glory or whatever, which frankly, the families that I have spoken to have zero issue with knowing who the hell he is. They want everybody to know who the hell he is because we want to figure out what the hell happened here, right? Now, this tweet was issued, my thing is going to be too big here, at, you notice how it says 4:54 a.m. You have to add 4 hours to this tweet. Okay, I think it was archiving from BC that day. I was running my VPN out of BC. Now, so 8:54, 6:30 is a crucial time. 6:30, we have Staff Sergeant Brian Lilly, or Sergeant Dave Lilly, who comes out in his red surge and makes a very important statement and says, well, we were all being sent home because we didn't know if he was alive or if he was dead, and it was presumed that he had committed suicide or burned in a fire, right? Okay, 6:30, who else emerges? Exact same time, roughly, right, is Lisa at Leon Jowdry's place, 6:30. And how would she know if he had gotten out? How do they know that he had gotten out by 8:54? How would they know that? Because it doesn't fit the timeline. There was an event that transpired, or a phone call that was received. Something happened. Either Mr. Wortman had communicated with the RCMP in some fashion. Possibly somebody said, maybe from the phone, that 6:30 Banfield appears. Yeah, 6:30 Banfield appears. 6:30 RCMP are getting sent home. 6:30. Yeah, Trudeau was on right away about that. Don't ever mention his name. He was the first one to say that. Don't mention his name. We don't want to glorify this person. We just want it all to go away. We want to forget about that. And he basically said that in his own words in the press conference on the Kovu that day. So why is it then that they're sending out a tweet before anything is known? Because what is the first event that precipitates that is that's, if I go through my timeline, which I have some information that is not public. So at 8:02, they're still saying that there's an active shooter. There's another one. Why are they tweeting out at 8:02 that there's an active shooter in Portapique if they thought he was dead? How do I get this to open? Copy. Paste. So again, this is 8:02. You have to add 4 hours. So an hour and a half earlier, Lisa's coming out of her fairy tree, going over to Leon's. An hour and a half earlier, same time, Dave Lilly says, we were all being sent home because we thought he had committed suicide or had died in a fire. So something happened in that hour and a half that triggered them. But according to the official timeline, what was it? When did they say the first phone call came in? Officially. I wish, but it's not until after 9:30, I believe, that anything is mentioned to do with Sean and Alana's place. So how is it that 8:02, they finally figured out that he's still alive in that hour and a half, and then within 52 minutes, they figured out that he's no longer in Portapique. And this is important. 9:15, okay? 9:15. Why is it then that 8:54, 9:45, right? I know those times to be out, by the way. But still, even the times I have don't fit. How did they know that he was out of Portapique? How did they know that he was still alive? First, they figure out in an hour and a half that he's still alive. And then, and Lisa wouldn't know that. Who would know that? Nothing's going on down in Portapique, right? Witness in Wentworth said 8 o'clock. I don't have record of the witness at 8 o'clock. I don't believe. But that would be very good to know. So there's gunshots. If that is in fact true, right, Julie? Then, let me see here. Who is that? The two people that were having the beer. Sort by, view by. Give me one moment. I'm trying to find something here. Oh, no, that's Darcy. That's not what I want. Fisher, Glenn, Lisa Owen. Is it Lisa Owen? Called 911. CBC reported that Lisa Owen called 911. See if we can find reference to Lisa Owen with a time. A lot of this is all removed, and I do remember that from way back when. I do have some screenshots, or I should. Lisa Owen, Wentworth. Shooting. And this is nothing, and nobody should be doxing anybody at all. And Lisa Owen and Daryl. Is this the one? I don't think it was just after 8 a.m. on, they sound, okay, so just after 8 a.m., let's go to that here. Gotta get this switched here. Oh, okay, I already do. Just after 8 a.m., Atlantic time, Sunday, Owen said that they had heard what sounded like a gunshot. Thurrier drove his ATV down the road, but ran into other neighbors in a truck who told him to turn around because there was a house on fire, bullets flying. He returned home and locked the door for about 10 minutes. Thurrier said they went outside to do some yard work and heard a very loud, very, very loud explosion. Thurrier saw flames and black smoke. He drove down the road again in his ATV, met volunteer firefighter standing at the end of the driveway of the home of Alana Jenkins and Sean McLeod. Although they called 911, Owen said the dispatcher told him that fire crews were standing down since there was an active shooter in the area and it wasn't safe for them to respond. Basically, their hands were tied, so they just watched it go up in flames. But eight o'clock, they're tweeting out that he's still in Port-a-Pic, number one. Number two, it does not say in this article that it was 8 a.m. when they phoned. They went down the road and then they saw the truck. They don't fill in the details. It's the same thing as Lillian, where clearly that would be one of the questions that was asked. The interview with Lillian's walking friend, I can't remember her name, on the radio, she said, "Oh, I heard a gunshot, and then about 40 to 45 minutes later, we arrived home." Now, of course, the next question would be, what time did you hear the gunshot? Right? But they never have that. But you can actually use some math, and I did do it at one point in time, that you can calculate it back because they say what time they received a message from their friend talking about who was shortly thereafter they got home. And you can calculate it backwards. But it's the same kind of principle here where they don't want to tell you what time the first 911 call was placed. They say they heard a gunshot at 8. When was the first phone call? I don't believe Lisa's phone was busted. That's it. Yeah, that's absolute balls. The two that shot up the Fire Hill are from the Bible Hill detachment. I'm trying to see your points here and see if you see what I see. This is very important for us to get the conflicting possible conflicts with the timeline here. Using eyewitness statements, using what we have from the Twitter timeline, and piecing it all together. Then figuring out a path of travel, and I don't think it's going to work, would be my... I know in one case for sure, it doesn't. It absolutely doesn't. And I'm not sure if I did go through that or not. I'm not sure actually if I'm allowed to talk about that one at this point in time. But different people want things to remain private, which I can kind of respect, but we need people just to come out with what they have. Because even if it throws kind of monkey wrenches into relationships and stuff, because that's the only way we'll learn the truth. And the truth is always important. And there's no need to be frightened from truth. Leon called the cops for Lisa. Yes, and that's around about 6:30. No firm time has ever been established when exactly that was. What exact time was it that Leon called? The 911 records should indicate that. I would think Leon would have a record of that on his phone. I do believe I asked him a couple of times. I never did receive. Ooh, why is that title terrible? I've got an extra one in it. How did Lisa show the picture of a cop car if her phone was busted? Yes, I asked that same thing, but the CBC Fifth Estate seems to answer that by saying that it was, they insinuate that it's the other person that was shot, that did the interview in the hospital. Right? That he may have given them a photo in the hour-long interview that he did. Oh. Hey, dude. What's up, man? I don't know what the hell the hands are about, but I can't see exactly. How's it happening? Hail. Howl. Not sure who that's directed at, but have a great day. Because I have times talking about whoa. Okay, I'm just going to say that that's some kind of something is going on really weird with my timeline. Okay, that's interesting. Maybe I should put that over here. That's nice. My Word file looks pretty. I'm not exactly sure what's happening there. I was just looking at it. Well, I guess I can't really look at that anymore. I wish Julie was in here. Maybe she would have some insight. Oh, all right, excellent. What do we have here? Give me one moment, please. What do we have here? Give me one moment. Come on, please. There we go. Okay, so maybe, Julie's done a video about this. I think Julie and I need to have a conversation because I think we both have some data that may help each other.
Police were called early Sunday morning. Take us through what happened.
Well, good evening, Carol. Wentworth, Nova Scotia, as you said, 55 kilometers north of Portapique. At 8 o'clock Sunday morning, people who live along the Hunter Road in Wentworth heard gunfire and a loud explosion, and then flames coming from their friend's home down that dirt road. I spoke with Lisa Owen and her husband, Daryl Turrier, this morning in their front yard, and they tell me that when they heard all that noise, they immediately walked that half kilometer down the dirt road to their neighbor's home just to see what was going on. The house was on fire, fully engulfed in flames at that point.
Yes.
The fire trucks had responded, but police told them to stay away from the burning house and the property that it sits on. Eventually, though, that morning, the couple made their way to the home.
Okay, so this is the same type of thing, and then the tweet also falls into that because he's supposed to be dead. And no, it's not. I think it's retracted. They took it back. They took their comment back. I don't think anybody had anything deleted. 6:30. He's dead, consumed in fire, or committed suicide. 8:02. They're putting out a tweet. So some events precipitated in here. Something, right? And what is it?
Another friend and neighbor, his name is Tom Bagley, lying dead about 20 meters.
Because the time of death, yes. Yeah. Yes. I can't really go any much further than that at this point. But I will say that there is a very serious problem with the timeline there. There's a bunch of stuff missing, and times don't seem to stay the same. They move just like, I don't know, timestamps on videos. Are you following what I'm saying? Everybody's, oh shit, it's American. Holy shit. What? That's Michael Penny. That's a bit. Yes, only Peter Gabriel's 911 calls. Like, this is a hard one to say when people called 911. Really? Comments are being retracted. Retracted means that that person is taking their comment back. To retract means I take it back. If they're being deleted, that's another thing entirely. Still would like to see. Everything has been stretched. Times photos lie. Anyway, I wanted to point some of those things out. There was something else. Some of these other ones are much bigger and will take a lot more time. The interrelationship between people is quite interesting, but that should have a video all dedicated to itself. Just highlighted my comment that was retracted somehow. Yes, I can highlight comments because I'm using, here, I use like streaming software, which is different than YouTube. Whoa. I'm not seeing any of this stuff going down here. All right, well, I hope whatever, yeah, now I'm seeing messages being deleted. I hope that's not happening. That's not so good. I don't know quite what's happening. I'm going to have if you give me a moment. Not so good. Before you get too sick reading that, let me find out something here. Oh dear, of course, has been dropping lots of videos. Please do go over and watch. See, lots of these I haven't even seen. I don't know what's going on. Which is really not good. She and I need to collaborate here. Now, I wanted to talk about the Greg Mercer thing also, if we could, because please, I wish to encourage you to deal with this stuff, to weigh in, because it's really important. I went over the article and everything, so I'm not going to go through it as to, hey, Judy, how's it going? We'll go back to, where is it here? So we have a couple of people who have posted, thank you, on the page here. So we had Rebecca Jones. It has to be seen in public. There is the article, which is behind a paywall. There is a way to bypass that and leave a comment. I would encourage people. It's interesting how I haven't seen one comment in there yet. So I'm wondering if they're retracting comments. This was written by Cindy Lee. Important information to whom it may concern. This group was formed as a platform for the families and friends, 23 victims, to come together as one and support each other as much as we can. We are here to comfort and help in any way possible. It has come to my attention that a member on here may not have the same goals as we do as the group supporting the victim. Now that's going to be okay. I think there's something funny going on with the something very funny going on with the YouTube. It has come to my attention that a member of a group may not have the same goals as we do supporting the victims. There's obviously always going to be some, bad apples in the Discord. And there's going to be some here. They're watching carefully, and that's okay. That's no reason to be worried about that. It's important to speak up. We all have voices, and we have nothing to be afraid of. Searching for the truth, there's nothing wrong with it, despite being called conspiracy theorists. I commented, and I sent you a photo of my comment. Okay, I'll get to that. I feel you have no, instead you doxed our friend and family member. You have re-traumatized her, gave out her personal information out. Although it is misleading information, you still did it to a family member, family victim, which I guess, it's misleading, and you did it to a family victim. I feel you have no empathy, the ability to understand feelings of one another, couth, good manners, and refinement. I always love that word, couth. I used to call myself uncouth all the time. My grandmother would say I was uncouth. As a journalist and member of the media for 22 years, interesting number, I am shocked that shocked you would join our Remembering the 23, as you or no other media outlets have acknowledged the 23 publicly. So why are you here? After the article you wrote on Sunday, I myself feel that you are a disgrace to the world of reporters, journalists, etc. Put yourself in her shoes and have what happened to her happen to you. God forbid it would. How would you feel if a journalist did this to you? How would you feel if you lost your brother, sister-in-law, niece in a blink of an eye in a horrific way? Would you want your personal information to be shared around the world? So unlike you, I will not dox you publicly by saying your name, but you know who you are. Here is one public platform for you to repent, feel or express sincere regret or remorse about one's wrongdoing, and apologize, express regret for something that someone has done wrong. Okay. I'm going to talk about the comments here in a second. Here, feel, express remorse, and apologize, express regret for something that somebody has done wrong, plus, of course, publicly apologize in your newspaper. Your article was first published April 18, 2021, in case you misplaced, forgotten where you wrote it. So hopefully you will do the right thing. And the author to this, Greg Mercer, of course, responded, funnily enough. And he said, "Hi, everyone. I wanted to address some of the reaction to this story. I have spoken to Tara and apologized for the distress I may have caused her. Now, I obviously speak to Tara on a fairly regular basis. I was aware of the phone call. She does not feel this is sufficient. Tara shared her story openly with me, and I tried to portray the anxiety and pain caused by this tragedy as honestly as I could. I did not know that she had any concerns about her town being named. I wanted the story to say 23 victims." Okay, so let's just stop there. I did not know. What does that mean? I did not know. You certainly do now. Has it changed? It has not. So why has it not changed? Why are you insisting on doxing her? You know now. All right, so what's going on here? Okay. I really didn't want to get into the comments stuff. I know who Snow White is. And I can tell you this. Snow White is not anywhere that they can be watching YouTube at this point in time. So I'm not sure how that's possible. I personally know Snow White, so I'm not sure how, and I messaged them, and they told me where they were, and I know that to be true. I didn't remember that, and so there's no way that Snow White is doing stuff in here, which is really, really odd. I don't know how to get to the bottom of this, but could there be two Snow Whites? Okay, easiest way to find that out would be, I'm going to do this. There can't be. I don't believe. This is really taking away from what I'm trying to say here. Okay, here we go. Now, if we go down to, where's the live chat? There it is. All right. So I'm going to do this. It's a little bit of a sneaky trick, and I don't want to show anybody. right now. Hey, Snow White isn't in here, technically. Should autocomplete. And they're not here. Right? It would autocomplete, but it's not. That's interesting. Why is it not? It's there. Yeah, see, Ms. Fox. This is how you do stuff to find out if somebody's here. There is no Snow White in here. And I know that they're not because I text them. And I asked them. So I don't know what the fuck is going on there. Anyway, but that's should get back to what this is. I apologize to anybody who that's happening to. So they don't do anything to address the concern, her major concern. They just say, well, I didn't know she did, but who cares? Doesn't matter. I do now, but I still don't care. I wanted the story to say, and of course, anybody in their right mind would never do that. It doesn't add anything. It's not relevant. It's not relevant, pertinent to the story at all where anybody lives. Are they saying anybody else that's interviewed? Do they say where Linda McDonald lives? Why don't we say where that? I mean, that has nothing to do with the story. Of course, you're not going to write it in there. So what the hell are you doing? I wanted to say 23 victims, but my editors wanted to say 22, including a pregnant woman, a pregnant mother. So this is the next evolution. Hey, Brenwick, how's it going? This is the next evolution. We've pushed and pushed and pushed and said, what are you doing? Families have said, we absolutely will not. We can you please? They've begged, they've phoned, they've complained, they've done everything. It hasn't made any effect. Every video pretty much that we have on this channel says 23, can you not honor what the families want? And of course, the government doesn't want that. Any of the groups who don't seem to want to, they aren't playing necessarily on the right team, insist on using 22. 22 is a tell. So you keep pushing and pushing, and now they're down to, sometimes they'll say 22, including a pregnant mother. The only place that has said 23 publicly, I believe, is Big Dog Radio. And they changed their article from Canadian Press to say 23, which is out sure. Because the official count has been used all along. What difference does that make? It's not unofficial. It's what the families have asked. I understand the anger that it caused. I pushed back, but lost that fight. There are strong feelings on all sides of the story. What did you push back? How about this one? Did you do anything about this one? Did you do anything? Because that's published all over the country. You seem more important to talk about the 22 versus 23 rather than doxing somebody and putting their actual physical safety in jeopardy. Seems awfully strange. And you don't change it because you know now there's no excuses. Yeah, that wouldn't go over well, being that Gene Sarson's husband is former RCMP. That would really not go over well. Where's the RCMP on this one? Should they not be stepping up? I would think so, and saying this is absolutely not tolerable. You do not do that. That article will be removed. Or edited, altered. Get the Sharpie out, man. one time to actually get the Sharpie out. You don't do that to people, and you're not even addressing it at all. There are strong feelings on all sides of this story, and as a journalist, I'm stuck in the middle trying to navigate that. No, you're a human, first and foremost. I'd ask only that you read the story with an open mind, and remember, I'm trying to be fair from all points of view. Thanks. Thanks, says the man who has which article pinned to his Twitter? What was that again? Which article does he have pinned? July 5th, 2020. I was scared to death of him. The gunman behind Canada's worst mass murder terrified his family and neighbors before the years of this attack. I wonder, does this have anything to do with Brenda? Brenda. This isn't behind a paywall, of course. They want to have everybody and their dog know about the femicide. It was nasty. I didn't see anything. That's called bullshit journalism here. You can fact check that one with a special needs stick. Honestly, that one's not a hard one to do. Really not that hard to do. What did you actually see? Nothing? Okay, well, thanks. Move along. That's what a witness is. Did you see something? No. I heard about something. Well, okay, that's hearsay. Go away. Instead, that's what he has pinned to his tweet. The pinned tweet. This is what he wants everybody to see. There is finally a comment under there. How dare you dox family member? Do you see what happened there? Let's refresh that. Thank you for leaving a comment. Oh, do you see what? It's hidden. Hidden. Does this person say anything negative? How dare you dox a family member and tell lies about her in your story? Is that true? That is, in fact, true. He said that she had a gun. He changed that. Now it says she's arming herself. Does it still have the same inference? Baseball bats? Children? What are you doing, man? Security fences? That one's not totally not true. And though it may seem like a minor issue to some people, frankly, her security and her child's well-being is a really major issue and should be an extraordinarily major issue to all Canadians. Hot tubs, exactly. Hot tubs. Hot tubs. Should be very important. And protecting these families is like super high on the priority list. And it is up to us, because if these people want to do that, you think they're going to dox you? Hell yeah. They don't have any compassion. He said that right in his statement there. I did not know. That's past tense. Do you know now? The answer to that is a yes. Have you done anything to fix it? A no. Still currently reads. Very, very not good. I'm trying to be fair to all points of view. Thanks. And my concern is that you gave out her general location, security fence, 2 large dogs for protection, says Cindy. Has had dogs for years. She does not have a gun. Has a fence. See, this is a bit older, right? Has a fence that she built to protect her dogs, as one was hit by a car. Anybody who talks to Tara knows that. He actually assumed. Ass out of you and me. Or does he want to paint a picture? Anybody who asks a question, problem. Anybody who makes statements that support a narrative, even if it's hearsay and not true, not supported by evidence, any zero, zipola, well, then that's fine. We can publish that. No, there's a great disconnect between that. You either report the truth and it's factual and it's evidence-based, or you report lies. I wonder which one's going on here. Supporting a narrative. Whose narrative is he supporting? The RCMP's. That's not cool. In the Brenda case, that is not factually supported. Furnish me one piece of evidence. Well, I talked to Brenda. Fine. You talked to Brenda, which would be amazing to actually know if he actually did speak to Brenda, but fair enough. Let's go with it. He did. Did she actually see something? Everywhere I have read says no. I think that they would report that right away. I saw the following. The most that she ever indicate that she saw, which isn't even in his article, is that he saw her roughly escort her out one day because Brenda was accusing him of cheating all over the neighborhood. And he's like, I don't want that. Like, let's get out of here. This woman's crazy. Okay. Is that crazy? Does that make him a woman beater? Not necessarily. You have no evidence, but you will report again, oh, she has guns. Where did that come from? Behind a paywall. All of these articles are behind paywalls. Anything to do with the march is behind a paywall, unless they're sewing it into 22 events. You follow? It's all the same. Are you missing something? The conflict? Well, the conflict is the doxing, the false reporting on a family member. The article should be written, here is the following person's concerns. Tara's concerns, family members' concerns. Substitute any family member in there. It's all the same. They're all the same. They're all equally important. It's just, in this case, Tara's being more forward. And right now, and 400 people, 400 versus what you saw with 22, which was drastically different. And they never ask for any justice. Nothing. I haven't heard it. Anybody can produce something. I would be very interested to see. Have they ever said, we question the RCMP? We as family members, a family member group, really have some questions here. Because we know a lot of family members, plural, being that they're suing the RCMP, suing the Nova Scotia government, suing the Canadian government, suing the Wortman estate, obviously have a lot of questions about what is being told and what family members that I have personally spoken to all have indicated that they have major concerns and are very pissed off. So it's not that they want to go over to Brenda and all that junk. In fact, they're like, let's get out of that stew, because of course it is just a distraction technique. Dreamt up in the war rooms. Unnecessary. Protect her dogs as one was hit by a car. Her general home location is unnecessary and completely irrelevant. Have you given out anyone else's general home location in the media when you interviewed them? What does her address have anything to do with the story? You stated that she is a paranoid mother who believes in conspiracy theories. Where the hell did you come up with these stories? If you believe that, Greg Mercer, then I guess most Nova Scotia and possible Canada is just like Tara. They're just like Tara. We all must be paranoid and be conspiracy thinkers. I would say the vast majority of people who have any familiarity with this story all have questions. And that doesn't mean that you're a conspiracy theorist, especially if you're just bringing evidence to the table. Because whether you like it or not, Greg Mercer, people do not trust the media or the RCMP. You both give misleading and false information or neglect to tell the truth by omitting true facts. When it is convenient to you, I would say equally to the government and to the RCMP. You called Tara. You said you apologized. Did you not did you Sharpie it out? Any of the false or unnecessary statements that you made about her publicly? Last but not least, you ask us to, quote, read your story with an open mind and remember you're trying to be fair to all points of view. Who are you being fair to? Not the public, in my opinion. You would print the truth about the horrific events of that weekend, not try and cover up the RCMP's asses, thank you, and printing lies. Start asking questions and go for the truth, as we are trying to do. We will not give up. Amelia May, Greg Mercer, then know that everything you labeled her as is complete inaccuracies. Tara saved my life. I know her well, and the picture you painted was false. Paint it correctly, please. And she echoes, because I helped build the fence. The fence was all to do with the dog. Geez, I remember when the dog got hit. Oh, shit. She was not happy. She's like, well, I got to build a fence now, because my dog's running out on the road, likes cars. Greg Mercer, do not sit there, says Kendall, sit there and ignore facts of you assuming she had a gun in her possession, which was never told to you. How can you report that? Where did he come up with that? Dilapidated house, war room, dilapidated house. Somebody else wrote dilapidated house. Again, not relevant, not pertinent at all. Seems very convenient. Two people saying the same thing, trying to sow a seed of fear with people. Well, I can report these nasty things if you don't go along with the game plan. How about this? You know what? How about that? Publicly apologizing for your assumptions and misrepresentations of her character. Assumed in many things that your story would see. Apologies are only words when there is no action. Publicly apologizing for your assumptions and misrepresentations of her character for the world to would be appropriate. Not on the phone, not a response to a post, bit of a redaction with misinformation, and public apologies. That is what the people with integrity. You have your word. That's all you have in this world. So if you're a journalist and you don't have your word, and everybody begins to know that, you don't have a job. Because people are like, well, that person's a really shitty reporter. Amelia May, yes. Cheryl George Clark, very well said. Since it was not reported in the printed article, I will post one of the most important statements stated in the media today from Tara. Media, one of the things I would like to see come out of today, 23 instead of 22. We all started acknowledging the 23. And then you scroll back further. There was a message that was sent. It was a 4-page letter that was sent, quite lengthy, by Rebecca Jones. 14 comments on it. I'm writing in reference to the article published April 18th, 2021, Greg Mercer, titled, "A Year After Nova Scotia Mass Shooting, a Community is Left to Comfort His Grief." And by the way, in his the stupid Globe and Mail thing, it starts talking about conspiracy theories. That's what's in the title that links the article. Families go to conspiracy theories. Get out of here. Families have questions and lingering questions. Several memorial events, tributes took place this past weekend to mark the passing of 1 year largest mass shooting in Canadian history happened here in Nova Scotia. This has left a wake of trauma, destruction, and loss of life like no other. Many questions are still unanswered. There is an ongoing tug of war between the victims' families, the courts, investigating agencies for access to what is known about a dead man and currently withheld. Nova Scotians are here and show up when needed to hold up and support those still here, families, friends, neighbors, emergency personnel, first responders, and anyone learning to move forward after the trauma of the past year. How do you move forward unless you have the answers? Unfortunately, we now live in a climate where violence, tragedy, and criminality are so prevalent that stories in a given news cycle can change hourly. Journalism has, without a doubt, become the most sensationalistic over the years. Yeah, exactly. That's just a rag now. It's a rag. You might as well have bought the Globe, whatever, what was it? The National Enquirer. Rename it. You're going to publish trash, then rename it. And everybody can have a laugh. We can have aliens coming out of pizzas or whatever they do over there. Journalism, without a doubt, has become sensationalistic over the recent decades, and consumers in general are drawn in creating negative feedback loop between viewership and journalistic style. A choice is made on how to navigate the space between complete neutrality of facts and a number of editorial tactics employed to engage the greatest number of consumers. I see something much more horrific. I mean, what, you get promised interviews. Well, we're not going to talk to you if you, how about this? We'll give you an exclusive interview if you write the following thing. This isn't crazy talk. That's not crazy talk. That's the way they talk. Yes, he can. Yes, he can. It's libelous behavior. Libelous. A judge would have a field day, I think, frankly, with doxing her. Oh my. She already loses half her family, and then you're actually going to place this woman in jeopardy. My, oh my. Globe and Mail. Again, I think there's a really nice case settling up here against a few people. That's all it's going to be. It's just going to be lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit. Costs money. And if you got wins on your side, you know, and a lawyer will take it. No problem. Keeping the story 1819, the 2020 active in the media is instrumental in maintaining public engagement, public awareness, and ultimately support for those seeking the redacted information and facts. Under no circumstance should a journalist pervert details and information about a victim's family member to sensationalize the narrative. Greg Mercer has been a journalist for more than 20 years, reporting across Canada, and in this instance, the Globe and Mail. I would have expected higher standard. And if he's freelancing, oh my. Who's going to buy your stuff? Who cares if you've got a great interview promise somewhere down the line, some exclusive access? People are still going to be like, especially now, people start getting this word out. that this person is not a good journalist, they go down. That's the end of their career. Then nobody buys them. And people have to start pushing hard on this one. Please, I beg of you, because it is her safety we're talking about here. Could be any member of the families. And other family members need to equally speak up, as does the RCMP. I have expected higher standard of journalistic integrity from him with respect to this very complex, emotional, and violent event. Mr. Mercer interviewed Ms. Tara Long via telephone before the memorial events of this weekend. Ms. Long is one of many family members dealing with the murder of a loved one 1 year ago. She has a strong voice in the community, rallying support from other victims' families and friends, and managing her own trauma and seeking transparency enforcement. Why has Mr. Mercer chosen to disclose the community and county which Ms. Long is residing? What benefit is this to his narrative? For a single woman who has her last living relatives, brother, sister-in-law, and her 17-year-old niece, which is not entirely true. She does still have a little bit of family left, but it was devastating, let's just say it that way. Murdered in her own home by someone not known to her, now disclosing nationwide article about her geographic locations, nothing short of re-victimizing, absolutely shameful. I also know Ms. Long directly, and in no way does she support suggest to Mr. Mercer that she has, within the last year, quote, installed a security fence around her house. Never would that word be used by her. Surrounded herself with 2 large dogs and keeping a gun nearby. Now, I could see Tara saying the dogs. She has big dogs. She always talks about having big dogs. She has big dogs. Frankly, I'm glad she does. Even with all the trauma she has experienced. However, Mr. Mercer has manipulated the facts to create this picture of Ms. Long's current state of mind. She has raised and trained dogs for decades and has always had guarding dogs on her property. Long before a mass shooting of last year, Ms. Long has had a gated property in part to protect her dogs from traffic. It was absolutely to protect the dogs. You didn't want to build a fence. But does not have a security fence. Most importantly, Ms. Long refutes ever possessing a gun or making the suggestion of acquiring one following the murder of her family. I can't attest to that at all. I don't know. It should not be anyone's business if she was legally possessing a firearm, but she doesn't. That's all that needs to be said, is she just doesn't possess a firearm, period. And Mr. Mercer is incredibly negligent in his reporting, releasing Ms. Long's location, a persona that she is rather unstable individual with extreme anxiety and access to a firearm is untrue, and unproven is acceptable, unfair, and that should be an immediate public retraction with an apology from Mr. Mercer. Sounds like the CBC garbage, you know? Sounds familiar? Sharon? CBC garbage? Did you notice how they have such a hard time with this stuff, eh? Apology, Mr. Mercer, to Ms. Long and the families the article impacts. Also, I also think it would be appropriate if in the remainder of the article is surmising disclosure of information that has been released from further investigative standpoint. The entirety of Mr. Mercer's paragraph, A History of Violence, is all hearsay. The only source being Ms. Banfield, who is currently co-accused for providing ammunition to the gunman. It is yet to be proven or decided in court. CBC shit. Yeah. CBC shade. It's like the shade. The cert. the shit. This is all one and the same, right? In court, the degree with Ms. Banfield played a role in the events that unfolded 18th, 19th. It has yet to be proven. Yet Mr. Mercer has propagated a persona of an abused partner. Again, please familiarize yourself with what he has pinned to his tweet, which is hearsay. Persona, and of course, not behind a paywall. Anything to do with this march went behind paywalls. The 3 articles, I think, that were written. Deserving of empathy, so nobody can read it, or very few. And compassionate, but the reality of the families and the public are unsure about how to feel about Ms. Banfield, as authorities have yet to disclose any investigative findings with respect to the timeline or events given by Ms. Banfield. How about the evidence? How about the evidence that she was abused? Should be all over the place. Friends, all the other girlfriends he had. With the absence of information, there's only speculation that Ms. Banfield has remained relatively silent. To be fair, no assumption should be made about Ms. Banfield. It is painful for the families to see her described by her own words as a victim in this tragedy. I am requesting that the Globe and Mail, and subsequently Mr. Mercer, issue a public apology and an immediate retraction for the disclosure of Ms. Long's geographical location and a description of her environment and state of mind as information unrelated to the shooting and how she has managed to move forward following the murder of her family has been misrepresented and exaggerated, creating an inaccurate depiction of Ms. Long because she asked questions. You can find online video of her statement of Ms. Long describing how she was to return home last night from the memorial walk. The 23 people murdered to find this article published with false narrative linked to her name and release of where she lives. As strong advocate for the search for answers, she, along with many others, under no circumstances should have their personal property location disclosed to the national public. This negligence cannot go unaddressed. Sincerely, Rebecca Jones. And I believe there were some comments. Well written. Thank you, says Linda. Loretta Angel, very well written. Maybe the Globe Mail can also be the first to contact the number, correct the lives to number 23. A whole year, still can't get it correct. You know what? Perhaps Rebecca Jones should go and write for the Globe Mail. She writes far better. I'll tell you that. Excellent job, says Mary. Cindy Lee, awesome. I sent off a note today also. Yay, good. Let's get this stuff out there, people. You've got all kinds of places you can post it. We need to. No armchair quarterbacking anymore. I mean, what did I post today? I posted the official letter, which I'm going to read. Even though I know I'm just in a toilet with Twitter. They've got me in the echo chamber permanently, but that's fine. Citing Greg Mercer, Globe and Mail, and the RCMP. Better deal with this one. Which is good. Same thing. You just let's get it out there. Whatever we can do. Sent off a note. Very well written. Thank you for championing for this. Also, Tara, as other living siblings, a small point this article, but still can be correct. That's true. That's true. She does have some living relatives, but very few. Defour Sully, I will add a correction. I thought she was the last relative. Okay. Thank you. Yep, that's true. Very professional, unlike Mr. Mercer. Excellent. Right on. Sharon's got it. She should just be replaced. These journalists should be replaced. Well written. Very well written. Nicely written. Well written. Well done. Thank you. Well written. Thank you. Very well written. Maybe the Globe and Mail can also be the first to correct the number of lies lost to 23. A whole year, and they still can't get it correct. Certainly a lot more better than the comments that Mr. Mercer receives. I'm not seeing anything negative about these people. That's interesting. Now, let's read what is officially released as a statement. My name is Tara Long. I am Aaron Tuck's sister by blood. I am Jolene's sister-in-law and Emily's aunt. A complete branch of my family tree was horrifically taken from a year ago. The world was watched with compassion and respect, as myself, along with other families, have struggled to find the answers in just life without our loved ones here. It literally takes your breath away every moment of every day. There unfortunately are a select few individuals who choose purposefully, and recklessly report inaccuracies to paint a picture of lies instead of truth. I am authentically me, grieving sister, aunt, and sister-in-law. What has been taken away from me, I will never get back. However, I will not stand by in silence while being consumed by grief. To allow media portray me as someone I am not. The Globe and Mail reporter Greg Mercer has recently published an article that gives my general home location, which is completely inappropriate, unnecessary, and completely irrelevant. He has also recklessly and inaccurately implied that I possess lethal weapons in my home, that I am a paranoid mother who believes in conspiracy theories, victim blames, and has the inability to see the truth clearly. Mr. Mercer has chosen to use his platform purposely. I don't know how long he's going to have a platform if he continues that garbage. Unfairly and inaccurately assassinate my character as a mother, as a sister, aunt, and sister-in-law. A strong, independent woman. It is reckless for a journalist in the media to publish blatant lies and contribute to a grieving family's mental anguish. Listen, the amount of grief that these people are going through, what are you thinking adding to it? Huh? Well, I didn't know, but I do now. Blatant lies to contribute to a grieving mental anguish for their own financial gain. I want to be very clear. This is blood money. Blood money. I want to be very clear. I will not accept or tolerate any attack on my character by any member of the media. My truth is my truth to speak, and not for the media to insert their own insinuations to create a story that fits their agenda or a headline. The horrific loss that I have suffered and feel to the core of my soul every day is what will have me seeking the untainted truth for myself, my family, and for the people of Nova Scotia. This does not equate to conspiracy, as Mr. Mercer has implied. This equates to justice, because I cannot begin to heal if I do not know the truth of what happened to my family. My hope is that no other family member is put into the position of having to defend their character. Speak up, you're going to get whack-a-moled. But we can just fight it, or explain any harmful, malicious lies publicized in the media for the world to see. Going forward, I will choose to publish the truth on my own via media releases, so that what is published cannot be manipulated for personal gain. We're all here with you, Tara. Big hugs. This is utterly disrespectful behaviors. No one should be treated this way. The differences shouldn't be the focal point. I am sorry that this happened. Is there any legal action you could take? Like, how low can a person go to bash you when you're seeking the truth? I wonder if Nova Scotia Members Legacy Society would like to weigh in on this one? I'm curious about that. They want to help families through grief, right? Perhaps they want to come in. They've got lots of money and people. Please feel free to share. So beyond sickening, says Charlene. Dawn Marie Jefferson, my heart breaks for Tara. This is not right and so unfair. Lots of love and hugs to Tara from Cape Breton. Like, this is pretty awesome how everybody is getting a lot of love except Greg Mercer. Perhaps he might want to get on the love train. Start treating people well. I'm so completely sorry I'm so sorry this happened. All of it. Those 2 days from hell. The fact that you are being attacked. Stand up like you are. I saw you on TV. You are completely correct. I hope more stand with you. I know my whole family does. So very sorry for your loss. I pray we all get answers. So sorry what's happened to you. Also for your loss. This is horrific. I hope that you are able to find answers for yourself and all Nova Scotians. Media is the worst. No journalism anymore. What can we do to help, Tara? This is unacceptable. You have been through so much already. Just let me know what I can do to help, and I'm on it. Hugs. Hugs, my friend. Hashtag Globe Mail. Hashtag Greg Mercer. Hashtag shameful. Terrible but not surprising. Canadian media has given its marching orders. From who? I wonder how much anybody's getting enriched with this one. Globe and Mail getting money? Interviews promised? Nobody would leave that in there unless you're getting something out of it. That's just it. I did not know, but I do now. Means trampling over the anguish of victims and their families, so be it. Absolutely disgusted with you and your family would be treated this way. Journalism is no longer an ethical profession. It's a greedy race to the bottom of profit line. Shared via Twitter, hearts. I remember there used to be a time only the newspaper reported crap was Inquirer. There we go. Exactly. Exactly. Unfortunately now, it is all of them. I'm so sorry what happened. My prayers are with you. I'm so sad to read this, Tara. It should never have happened. Just unreal. You're in my heart, girl. Call me anytime. I learned a long time ago that reporters put their own spin on stories, choose narratives to sell papers, sway the public's belief. Aha. You see? That's what's important. It's not so much about the money. It's changing everybody's thought lines on everything. Red flags. Brenda Bo Forbes said she heard something from somebody. So it's news. That means it's fact. It's disgusting that this reporter has chosen. It's very interesting that this person is kind of siding with the very organization that his own, one of the Canadian Journalism Association, I think it is, voted to be the most secretive organization, law enforcement organization, and give them an award. Instead, you're going to take words of people who are hearsay, report it as fact. You know, at least if I'm going to say something, I will say there's a possibility. I could be wrong on this. I'm not exactly sure. I'd like to get your opinion. I'm not going to say that that's fact, because that would be irresponsible. And I know the only thing I have in this game is my word. And if my word kind of gets trashed, well, I have nothing left. Nobody's going to pay attention to me. It's disgusting that this reporter has chosen the same route at the expense of a grieving family member. Blood money is shameful and unethical journalism. Well said, Tara. You go get them. Terrible. Hugs, my friend. Now you see why no one from this group offered any media outlets an invitation to our walk in Bible Hill, except for Big Dog and Pure Country Radio. in Truro. We invite them because they're not just the first, but the only media outlets to have done what the families have begged for the media governments to do, and say and write 23 innocent people were murdered that weekend, and yet they all showed up to take pictures of our walk, only just to use them in their stories about another run that happened in Truro. Another run that's happening in Truro, which says don't ask questions. So that you can kind of look like you have hundreds, but only with a tiny snip in it, some stories about our walk. Shameful how they act. We're all here with you, Tara. Big hugs. That is utterly disrespectful behavior. No one should be treated that way. Differences shouldn't be the focal point. I'm so sorry this happened. Is there any legal action? Okay. So, like, how low can a person go? So they commented the same thing. Now, these are all wonderful comments and statements. Where's Mr. Mercer? Send him a tweet. Send Globe and Mail a tweet. And send the RCMP a tweet. Say, what's going on here? Are you protecting families here? Are you protecting the ones that are still left? Because I would think that the answer should be yes. Even if we can't talk about that case because it's before the courts, fine if you want to go into that Orwellian hole and stay there, that's fine. You still have a job to do, and that would be protect the family members that are still alive in this story. Thank God. Don't want to further jeopardize them, right? That's possible. Yeah, that's possible. Definitely, like it's the sowing of things. It's the sowing of support, numbers behind this. Because the numbers, there was a drastic difference in numbers between those two events. Large, very large, which we haven't really touched on a lot, but can with further time. I'm just hoping that people will kind of do the right thing and be like, okay, you know, I always hope people do the right thing. Anyway, I don't know why. I live in a, thank you, Linda, for your comment there. So thank you, Kendall, for writing that up, or getting that organized and putting it up there. Thank you for Cindy. Thank you for, I'm sorry, Rebecca, for putting those comments up. And thank you to all of you who are doing that. And perhaps we should have an organized, Twitter trending. I did that once upon a time. We can do it live and just start tweeting. You just hammer out tweets. I think you have to do it about every 45 seconds. Otherwise, you'll get banned or shadow banned. Looks like there's somebody doing something on your account. You just keep sending them, flooding them with it. It'll trend. And then people will read it. And I'm sure I could probably reach out to a few people that might help. I don't like to, it should be individuals. Things should be individuals. Okay. Anyways, don't see the feminists jumping on with a woman being doxxed. Yeah, exactly. Where's Linda? Great point. Where's Linda and Jean? That's dangerous. Very dangerous. Like Susie Boodlin. Could have done something about that. Ours never really getting any news. Just gross stories about Tara Sad. But, because we operate in a different medium, then that means we're not reputable. I don't think that. I don't think that means anything at all. I don't need a job. Mr. Mercer does. There's a difference. He can have to work and scrub and fight. I don't have to. Thank God. So I'd rather take my time and what, money I have, little money I have, which is not bad. I do okay, but and fight for truth, for no profit, no gain, no agenda, just because care, just like you guys do, just like O'Dear does, just like the Discord does. Nobody's getting anything out of this except a lot of sleepless nights and grief. But they do get family, right? Essentially, we've become a group of people who care about one another and are bringing something back that really threatens people. The last point I wanted to make was the resignation of, which honestly, 2.5 hours in, probably should have been one of the first things to address, but the resignation of Stephen McNeil from his seat in Antigonish, MLA. That is right out there, because what do you guys do for election? 2017 was your last election, so you guys are due for an election in 1 year, right? I think sometime in the next year, you guys are going to have an election. Why is he leaving before? So, I mean, this is more... this is Jenga 2.0 for Stephen McNeil. Clearly, the shit is really beginning to hit the fan. Really beginning to hit the fan. People are going down. Mr. Mercer will be part of that crowd. People who wish to be part of that crowd and go along with this. They're not in the popular side here, despite the fact that they have jobs that are paid for by the government. 600 million. They all get doses of the money. They all get promises of crap if they write certain things. He left because of his brothers in RCs. He's got all kinds of crap going around. This whole thing stinks to high heaven. Stinks. And the connections that they have? Wow. Is it just me? Is Tara videos being dissolved from her channel? Or Tara, are you removing them? Tara doesn't have any videos on her channel. She took them down a long time ago because why? There's another story. She got harassed about that. And, lots of family members have been harassed. I don't want to single it out to Tara. Tara is just representative of, if any of us, if you stand up, this is what's going to happen. Does Ian Rankin know what he's inherited? Well, he was over at the walk or the whatever run. He didn't choose to come and say, listen, I support you guys looking for answers. My predecessor clearly had a problem and now has another problem. So maybe I'll come and do the right thing and help you out there. I don't want to get political. It just has to do with doing the right thing. McNeil's nephew's up on charges as well. That's for the diddling ×2, isn't it? 5 members in law enforcement. Yep. Stinks. Stinky. Like Roquefort cheese. Real bad. When one family member gets hurt, we all get hurt. That's true. And that's why some of these comments are being made by family members. So they're supporting it. They understand. Yeah, diddling. ×2. I think he's been convicted before, right? And then he's out. And then he does some more diddling. Wonderful. I mean, you can't live somebody else's life, and frankly, he shouldn't be tarnished because of that. If there's conflicts of interest because of the law enforcement, that's a totally different story. His involvement that night or knowledge thereof, which clearly he would have, doesn't smell well. Anyways, and the last thing I'll say is the wheelbarrow. I would like to know, could somebody please let me know privately, or if that person would like to let me know privately, that I'm very interested just for, I don't know. I thought it was kind of neat. I said I'd be down there in spirit and you know, I could live stream it and stuff. Somebody actually had a wheelbarrow, because I got a message. I think it was that day or the next day. And they're like, "Oh yeah, you were in the wheelbarrow." And I was like, "Oh, I must really be losing my mind, because I don't recall being in a wheelbarrow in Nova Scotia." But apparently somebody had a speaker, which I would even like to know how they wired that to their phone, and live streaming, and was doing my live stream. So here I was in the march live streaming. I was like, what? Who? Had I known that, I probably would have said a couple more things, probably watched my language. But anyway, thank you. Yeah, it's the weirdest story. I got pictures of it. Somebody sent me pictures of it. It's in the Saltwire video, which thank you very much to O'Dear putting that up very kindly. It's got the backup that she has. It's just unbelievable. Unbelievable. And so thank you ever so much for that. I'm envious of all you guys getting to be there. But one day, I know, you know, we're all together, even though distance may separate us and stuff. Oh, really? Oh my, okay. Well, thank you. Well, that I'm honored even more. Wow. Actually, I'm really touched. Okay, so on that note, I should probably get off before I get emotional, because that was very kind. Very kind. Okay. So I do hope best wheelbarrow speaker. Classic coastal idea. It is pretty amazing. It's like putting pepperoni in a donair, which of course you guys are going to say, well, that's just normal. But Halifax donair rocks. It's got to be TNT though. TNT. I like the hot stuff. Not that hot though. All right. So Nancy McGilvery. Anyways, all right. We all can hear you. Thank you. Hopefully I wasn't swearing too much or anything. I don't think I did. I tried to be polite. No pepperoni? Yeah. Lots of donairs don't have, like donairs down here, they don't have pepperoni. I went to a really good donair shop. And I do know what a Halifax donair tastes like, because we do have an official shop here in Calgary that is like 100% the real deal. And I talked to one of my friends from Nova Scotia, and he's like, oh yeah, this place, he loves it. He's down there all the time. It's got everything. It's got a little market, and it has all the sauces and everything. And they have, you know, fresh seafood, and they fly the pepperoni in and everything. It's the real deal. I worked with one of his nephews in the airport, and he's slimy too. Who's that? Sorry? The wheelbarrow is genius. That is like, maybe I'll put that on my tombstone. Once was in a wheelbarrow. That sounds good. Best pizza and donairs. Yes, I've heard about the Picto pizza. I'm going to have to try the Picto with brown sauce pizza. Sounds very yummy. Sent you a couple pictures too. Thank you. I got a list of phone calls I have to make. Fuck. Anyway, okay. thanks ever so much. 72 of you joining. Like, this is fantastic. Please do what you can to share your thoughts with the Globe and Mail and Greg Mercer and the RCMP, because I wouldn't want to see it happen to any of you. It's what Pictou County Pizza, Sam's Pizza. Okay, is that a good place to go? Sam's Pizza. Sam's. All right, so it's now 11 o'clock. Oh my, it's getting late down there. I do hope that you're all being good to one another, as always you are. But be sure to be good to yourself, right? Eat and sleep and do all that stuff your mom would tell you to do. And much love, of course, always, to not only you and all of the people in the Discord, right? Thank you ever so much. But also, always, special prayers and love to the 23. Have a fantastic evening, everybody.